All right, that's going to be one of those songs that, according to the timer on the CD player, still had 45 seconds left to go, but then it faded out to nothing. It was Pagan's Mind with the song Entrance to Infinity off of their disc Enigmatic Calling. Before that, Within Temptation with The Reckoning off of Resist. Aftermath with Dithanasia. And In Flames with I Am Above off of their new disc, I the Mask. I am Ken the Metal Professor, and you're listening to Mostly Metal, more specifically on WVLP 103.1 FM. We're Valparaiso's nonprofit community all-volunteer radio station, powered with the power of the people. How's that for a slogan? I have to write that down. So, very often, if you listen to my block of time here, Sundays 8 to 10, rebroadcast Wednesdays 10 to midnight, sometimes it's 2 hours of metal. Sometimes it's a lot of metal with a little interlude called Ken's Dark Corner, where I talk about horror movies I've seen. And sometimes it's the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. So today, it's half and half. I haven't done a Ken's Dark Corner for a while. I've got to get back on that. But I went on a real binge towards the end of 2018, catching up on all the 2018 horror films I hadn't seen. And I think I burned myself out a little bit because I've only watched a couple of them since then. But sometime soon, I'm going to come up with something interesting to talk about and give me an excuse to go back and either watch new movies or watch old movies, you know, like a few of a franchise or something. I don't know. The spirit will move me. The horror demons will move me in the proper direction when the time is right. But my other passion is wrestling, and actually I'm sitting here in the studio doing the show with my phone playing the Royal Rumble so I can keep up on what's going on. And most wrestling fans will be watching the Royal Rumble and probably not listening to me. But anyway, just in case somebody out there is, I'm going to turn it over to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program here, and in just a second I'll tell you what you're going to hear.
Your insubordination will not be tolerated.
It is the top of the hour, and it's time for the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. I'm Ken the Metal Professor, and if you've heard this show before, you know that one of the things I like to do is go to wrestling shows, and one of the things I really like to do is load up the van with gear, a mixing board and some microphones and a computer, and record the show in audio, not in the sense that I sit there and call all the matches, but just, grab the highlights so that somebody who missed the show or somebody who wants to relive the show can get a compressed version of what happened. Now, this does involve some audience participation, right? Because this is going to be a 2.5-hour show compressed down into about 45 or 50 minutes. The show itself was last night's New Generation Wrestling show down in Crawfordsville, Indiana. You heard a delayed audio coverage of their previous show last month so you could keep up with all the happenings that are going on. And in this audience participation event, you'll be listening to audio from a wrestling show, so you're losing the visual factor, although I'm sort of describing some things that are happening along the way. So it's sort of like, back in the day when there was no television and people on a cold winter night would light a fire and huddle around the radio, and they would turn on the radio and listen to stories being told and just kind of sit there and chill and let their imagination do its thing. So that's your job, right? I imagine the perfect way to listen to this delayed audio recap is to get in a recliner and kick out the footpad, have your beverage of choice with you, and just sit there and relax and close your eyes and imagine you're at this wrestling venue and let the audio tell you what's going on. And if you like wrestling, then you'll basically get the entire experience of the 2.5-hour show, but in a much shorter amount of time. That's the idea anyway. And so I will present you now with the delayed audio coverage of the New Generation Wrestling event down in Crawfordsville, Indiana last night. It was a nice snowy night to drive down there and drive back. Very, very cold, but everybody was okay. The first half of the show before intermission will take up the next 25 minutes, and then the second half of the show will take about the next 20 minutes after that. So make sure you're comfortable. and enjoy. This is Ken the Metal Professor. I am live in Crawfordsville, Indiana with coverage of New Generation Wrestling's event on a snowy Saturday, January 26th. The official show is due to kick off at 6:30 p.m. local time, but there is a pre-show match. Young Money and Thomas Keith have come to the ring with their fancy music and lack of polite greeting from the audience. I wonder if they have something to say or if they're just going to fight. Well, that's rare. They didn't ask for the microphone. Let's see who the opponents are. Oh, the opponents came out, and now Thomas Keith has grabbed the microphone. This will be good.
Come here, Rap. Come here. We got a present for you, Rap. We got a nice present for you.
They have a present for the ref, and each of them took chewed gum out of their mouths and put it in the palms of Ref Chris.
Poor loser. Yeah, you know what it is. My name is Thomas the Benjamin Keith. This is the one, the only, Mr. Young Money! And together we are society.
Maybe.
And your other team in the other corner in this tag team match from Anderson, Indiana, the Pride of Indiana, Devin Bliss and Chris Castle.
So we finally got to learn that the opponents are the Pride of Indiana. Now that Young Money and Thomas Keith gave up the microphone, we learned good info. One of the members of the Pride of Indiana, that I don't know their individual names, just finished tossing Thomas Keith around like a rag doll for several sequences, and the crowd approved. Now Young Money is in the ring, and the other member of Pride of Indiana has tagged in. Young Money lamenting his pretty face has been damaged. The Pride of Indiana just made a tag so that one person could come in and take the place of the other one who's been getting beat on for a while. The ref didn't see it, so now he's chased the legal man out of the ring. In the meantime, High Society has changed back in and out a couple of times. And now High Society is back with the upper hand yet again. The Pride of Indiana had Thomas Keith down for a 2 count. When Young Money reached in and interrupted the count. But now the Pride of Indiana, both of them, have Thomas Keith alone in the ring. Kick to the face. And there was almost a pinfall, but yet again, Young Money interferes and yanks the Pride of Indiana off of Thomas Keith. The other member of Pride of Indiana just did a suicide dive out through the rope to knock down Young Money. And now here comes the second one with his own over the top rope. And he takes out both of them. I'll learn their names, but for now I just have to keep calling them both Pride of Indiana. Number 1 and number 2, I suppose. Pride 1's back in the ring with Thomas Keith. Thomas Keith whips him into the turnbuckle, but then a drop toe hold into the turnbuckle. Thomas Keith is waiting to get clobbered. with a 619. Pride of Indiana 1 had Thomas Keith outside the ring, and he was about to give him a suicide dive again, but Thomas Keith jumped up and hit him in the head as he was coming through the ropes. And so now Thomas Keith is in charge. Keith with a big body slam. Young Money with a leg drop off the top rope. This could be it. And it is.
The winner of the match, High Society.
Young Money gets the pinfall for High Society. The other Pride of Indiana, number 2, was trying to come in and make the save, but Thomas Keith held him out.
That you won, yeah, obviously you won. Why are you still out here? Okay, whatever.
Ron Butcher has come out to take over ring announcing duties. He noticed that High Society was still at ringside. They said they're sticking around to watch Drex Odell and TK0 in their first match. This will go well.
One of the things I hate doing more than anything is saying goodbye to someone, especially the person that just recently passed away. I'm talking about none other than Gene Oberlin. Yeah. Gene, I never met the guy. I really wish I had him. One of the few people I have never met. And I had the opportunity to meet him in Fort Wayne last year, and I didn't get a chance to go. But Gene is the reason I do what I do. Watched him growing up. Loved the interviews with Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Ric Flair, backstage. Hogan always started, well, let me tell you something, Mean Gene. I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be the guy that was the face of everything, that had the great interviews with the fantastic wrestlers, the guys that, ran the place. So here I am, 18 years later, right here. So I enjoy what I do. Gene Oberlin was a big inspiration in my life. But what I want to do now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say goodbye to the man with a 10-bell salute. So we get everybody in the back to come out. And ladies and gentlemen, if you please stand, we will honor meeting Gene Oberlin and say goodbye to a legend with a 10-bell salute. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like every month we start to show out like this. It's just crazy how this is working. I'm always afraid to come out here because I'm always having to say goodbye to somebody. Unlike these two, I'd like to say goodbye to them right now. You guys ready to see some wrestling? We're in a new place, Crawfordsville. Make some noise!
I imagine there were lots of 10-bell salutes for Mean Gene Okerlund going on around the country, maybe around the world. But that part's past. It's time for the first match. First official match, not the pre-show match. High Society is still standing around ringside. And out comes Douglas Stout. The crowd is a little bit happier to see Pinnacle FC, Drex Odell, and TK0.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is a non-title match. Introducing first, he hails from Naples, Florida, the self-made man, Douglas Stout. His partner, ladies and gentlemen, is the current NGW Hoosier State Champion from the Shadowloo Empire, Bentley Alexander Dawson. They were accompanied to the ring by Miss Nicole. Their opponents, ladies and gentlemen, are the current New Generation Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Introducing first, from Manchester, England, Drex O'Dell. His partner, ladies and gentlemen, hails from St. Joseph, Michigan, TK0.
Drex and TK0 were playing rock, paper, scissors to see who would be in the ring first when they were blindsided by Douglas Stout and Brentley Alexander Dawson. And they turn the tables, and BAD is sent outside the ring with a clothesline. And now both of Pinnacle FC have Douglas Stout hoisted up into the air. Listen for a slam. There it is. And the ref has finally restored a little bit of order, and the bell rang. Douglas Stout and Brentley Alexander Dawson are working over the left arm of TK0. It's been several minutes into the match, and High Society have not gotten involved yet, which is kind of surprising. Maybe they're behaving themselves. BAD is tagged in. Douglas Stout is holding up TK0's arm for Douglas Stout to jump down on from the top rope. Drex O'Dell came into the ring to try to protect his partner. The ref is getting Drex out of the ring, and in the meantime, Douglas Stout and Brentley Alexander Dawson have free reign on double teaming TK0. Not to mention Miss Nicole, who comes out to the ring with Douglas Stout. She's already gotten involved when the ref's been distracted too. Now she's up on the ring apron, walking towards Drex O'Dell. But then the ref told her to get down, and she did. So she was behaving herself. Oh, she's up on the ring apron again, distracting the ref. The ref is now turned around to deal with her on the ring apron. Stout and Dawson, once again, are able to both work over TK0. Turning TK0's left arm into a floppy wet noodle with all the abuse it's been taking. TK0 is not close to making a tag yet. He's still far away in the opposite corner. Nicole's up on the ring apron again. This time Drex O'Dell has had enough, and he's going over and getting in her face. Which means he's unavailable for a tag. TK0 finally managed to tag Drex O'Dell, who came in and clotheslined him, slammed Brentley Alexander Dawson, and now has slammed Douglas Stout, but was not able to get the pinfall. Pinnacle FC were just about to execute a big move onto Douglas Stout. TK0 was holding stout. Drex Odell was at a rebound off the ropes for a big clothesline. And that is when High Society decided to get involved. And they struck Drex Odell as he was going off the ropes. That allowed Stout to get a pinfall on TK0. And now everybody's hustling to the back.
What are you so mad for? The buffet closed early? Now, as you all know, I'm supposed to beat the crap out of Lawrence Von Papo later on this evening, but I am going to give him a chance to come down to this ring, admit that I'm the better man, sit down here, and get his head shaved so he doesn't have to take a beating. So please, Lawrence, if you can hear me, come on out, man!
The voice you heard was Buck Sexton, who has a hair versus hair match scheduled for later tonight with Lawrence Von Papo. But it's a big joke. One of Buck's buddies is coming out to the ring pretending to be Lawrence Von Papo with a long wig and a cane.
You cannot tell me that's not Papo. Hey, Papo, say hi. See? That's Papo. Come on. Thank you for leading him to the ring. We know he's got Alzheimer's and he can't make it here on his own. Can you move so he can use the steps? He's real old. All right? So, just... All right. Come on, sir. We went back and forth on Facebook. We've had fun with pictures, but I really want to pay some respect right now. Here, I got you. There.
Buck Sexton has gingerly allowed the faux Lawrence Von Papo into the ring.
Now that you've made it out here, it only took 20 years. I gotta ask. Okay? Can you hear me? Okay. Turn the mirror curler up. Do you want to just go ahead and give up now?
Now the real Lawrence Von Papo is coming out. Real Von Papo had fake Von Papo in a leg lock. Von Papo wants to get this real match underway right now, but I'm thinking Buck Sexton doesn't really want any of that. Yep. Buck Sexton and his buddy are slinking off. The second match of the night is going to be a women's match. The first entrant has come out to the ring, and she is a sight. She's got a kind of black and turquoise outfit from head to toe with pink hair, very large goggles, mask kind of thing over her face, and a green cape. And she just demanded that the crowd worship her. I don't think the crowd's going to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first. She is debuting here in NGW, ladies and gentlemen. She is the Space Brat for Planet Xenon. Vista Barrow.
The Space Brat from Planet Xenon.
Her opponent, ladies and gentlemen, coming to Indiana, Charlie Cruel.
The Space Brat making her debut at NGW. Charlie Cruel making her return after her first appearance last month. If you were listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling program during the last month, you might have heard audio coverage from that show. And if not, shame on you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest, as a result of a submission, the beautiful nightmare, Charlie Cool.
You may have heard the screaming of the space brat from Planet Xenon as Charlie Cool had her in a leg lock and got the submission.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest, Charlie Cool.
Charlie Cool's first match last month was an intergender match. Here she's won her first all-women's match, so she's off to a good start here in NGW. The Space Brat is having a temper tantrum. Here comes David Forrest for his match. Maybe he's from Planet Xenon too, because he's also having a temper tantrum. He hasn't even wrestled yet, and he's having a temper tantrum already. And here comes his opponent, Idle Hines. Who's not having a temper tantrum. He did scream, but that was just energy. This is being recorded on Saturday, January 26th, at the end of this week where it's been extremely frigid. And we are in the Montgomery County Fairgrounds Expo Hall, which is enclosed, but it's a little drafty. It's a little chilly. And I'm really feeling bad for these guys that are coming out here in just their trunks. No shirt, no leg coverings. They've got to be cold. Oh, there must be a third entrant in this match. Actually, I've been not informing you correctly. It looks like this is going to be a tag match. They've been introducing the entrants one at a time. Idle Hines got to the ring, and he was making all nice with David Forrest. And they're just standing off in a corner. Here comes Jake Carter. Who entered the ring and threw his shirt at Idle Hines. Who just did something unspeakable with it. Carter's partner is Kenneth James. That sound of disgust you just heard from the crowd was when David Forrest took his shirt off. The crowd is chanting tater tot at David Forrest. That's a holdover from previous shows, but it's stuck. Kenneth James was just having a little fun playing Quiz the Ref. Ref Zoran's in the ring, and Kenneth James had David Forrest in a hold down on the mat, and he was asking the ref, "Is this legal?" and proceeded to yank back on Forrest's nostrils. Ref says no. "Is this legal?" He sticks a finger in Forrest's ear. Ref says no. Eventually, Kenneth James found that he could stand up and stomp on David Forrest's midsection, and that was legal. But now the other two are in the ring. Jake Carter and Idle Hines. All four men are in the ring, trading blows and spears. Jake Carter has just pinned David Forrest. Whether those two are the legal men or not, I don't know. I wonder if anybody knows. But hey, the match is over.
Is a three-way elimination match for the #1 contendership for the Hoosier State Championship. The only way to win this match is if you were the last person in the ring. Anytime somebody's pinned, they're eliminated from the match. Introducing first, he hails from Cyclone City, Dynamo! His opponent, ladies and gentlemen, he hails from Green Castle, Indiana, Chris Gordon! And their opponent, ladies and gentlemen, from El Paso, Texas, El Muchacho!
As you heard from Ron Butcher, this is a triple threat match for a #1 contendership. We got Dynamo, not Crimson Dynamo, just Dynamo in the ring with Chris Gordon and El Muchacho. You might have just heard a smack a few seconds ago. Dynamo and Gordon were taking El Muchacho around the ring and smacking him in the chest in each corner. But he's now out of the ring, and Dynamo and Chris Gordon are going at it. Dynamo gets a 2 count on Chris Gordon, but not a third. And this is an elimination match, so even if Dynamo had pinned Gordon, the match would not be done.
Dynamo has been eliminated.
Dynamo wound up for a big punch on El Muchacho and missed, and El Muchacho took that opportunity to roll up Dynamo for a 3 count, and now the match is down to El Muchacho and Chris Gordon. Chris Gordon is slowly recovering from being power slammed off of the top rope by Dynamo just a couple of minutes ago, so he's still a little sluggish. The first slam was El Muchacho dropping Gordon off the top rope. The second slam was him coming down with an elbow drop, and then you heard the 3 count.
For the Hoosier State Championship, El Muchacho!
So now El Muchacho is the #1 contender for the Hoosier State Championship, and he should be taking on Brantley Alexander Dawson at some point in the future, the near future. Well, this is the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. I'm Ken, the Metal Professor. This is the second half of the Mostly Metal and NWIWRAP block, and you're listening to delayed audio coverage of last night's New Generation Wrestling event from the Montgomery County Fairgrounds in Crawfordsville, Indiana. The segment you just heard was the first half. Now there's an intermission, so go get some nachos or a hot dog, although they were out of hot dogs by intermission, which made me very sad. Coming right up here, the good stuff from the second half. So sit back and enjoy. So this second half is going to be packed. We've got the Lumberjack hair versus hair match. We have a Falls Count Anywhere match coming up, and then the main event. The Lumberjacks are making their way out to the ring for this first one, and Buck Sexton is making his way out too. If you're not sure why Buck Sexton and Lawrence Bonpafo are having a hair versus hair match, you can dive into the NWIWRAP archives on YouTube and listen to some previous shows that focused on NGW and the last show and some of the goings on here. But really, you should just be listening every week, and then you never have to worry about that.
Really? All right, we'll take care of ring introductions. I come to you tonight from a town far better than this one because Crawfordsville is an absolute hole. I weigh in tonight at 249.5 pounds, and my name is the Buck Sexton.
His opponent, ladies and gentlemen, hails from Monticello, Indiana, Lawrence Von Buffalo.
There are over a dozen lumberjacks surrounding the ring for this match between the Buck Sexton and Lawrence Bonpafo. I shouldn't say match, this is going to be a fight. They've already pummeled each other with fists. Now they're flinging each other across the ropes into the turnbuckles. Buck Sexton just made his first trip outside the ring into the lumberjacks. They quickly got him back in. Up. Now he's made his second trip over the top rope and into the lumberjacks. About 5 lumberjacks, including TK0 and Chris Gordon and Jake Carter, are all trying to get their hands on him and get him back in the ring. So we have all the lumberjacks that are favoring Buck Sexton. We have the lumberjacks who are favoring Lawrence Bonpafo. It's like watching Congress. They're separated onto 2 sides. They'll never talk to each other. They'll just want to fight. A whole bunch of the lumberjacks have entered the ring. And now the rest of them have entered the ring. There's a big standoff between the 2 sides. It is. It's just like Congress. Oh, and there they go. The ref has lost total control of this match. Sexton and Bonpafo are just laying on the mat protecting themselves while all the lumberjacks are going at it. So there's a lot of noise here, but very little of it has to do with the match. Drex Odell dragged off David Forrest to the back. And now there's a whole train of wrestlers that are all beating on each other, walking to the back and going through the curtain. The referee has gone through the curtain. And somebody just handed Buck Sexton a chair. High Society and Pinnacle FC are alone in the ring, having it out. And they've just been pantsed. High Society's just been pantsed by Pinnacle FC. Pafo and Sexton still just lying there motionless like little Ralphie the Slug in A Christmas Story. Pinnacle FC are the lone lumberjacks remaining. Buck Sexton still has the chair. He and Pafo are getting up. Still no ref back in the ring. Pafo has Sexton in a chokehold. The ref is finally back in the ring. He noticed that Sexton is unresponsive and he calls for the bell.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest, Lawrence Bonpafo.
Bonpafo gets to keep his glorious locks. Who knows if Sexton's going to actually stay still for his shaving. Bonpafo has really sensitive skin. His back is just laced with welts from the ring ropes. Ron Butcher has handed a razor, an electric razor, to Bonpafo. And some scissors. Here he goes, up into the chair.
Set him up there in that chair, boy.
There it goes. Bob Poffo has clipped off a lock of Buck Sexton's hair.
You're not worthy of being a wrestler.
Somebody's filming this, so it should be up on YouTube at some point.
Who's gonna watch this on TV? Come on, Ron! It's fun to you as much as he does me. You get in here, you get a couple too. Come on, go!
Bon Poffo is offering Ron Butcher the chance to come up there and take a little clip off of Buck Sexton's hair, too. The electric clippers are out. I'll fade things out and let you know if anything else exciting happens here during the shaving of Buck Sexton.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, scheduled for one fall, and it is a last man standing match. One stipulation, the loser has to leave NWIWRAP forever. Ooh, yeah. Introducing first, he hails from paradise. He is the walking apocalypse, Paragon. His opponent, ladies and gentlemen, from the underground, he is the one-man war machine, Jason Levi.
So the second to last match of the night here is a last man standing match. Jason Levi versus Paragon. This one's been building for quite a while. Loser leaves NGW. Ref Zoran's in charge of this. I don't envy that job. Jason Levi's got in the ring with a kendo stick. Paragon's asking him to be nice and not use it. I don't think that's going to fly. Jason went to use it, but Paragon got him, and now Paragon has the kendo stick. Paragon hit the ring ropes twice, and then the third time the kendo stick rebounded and hit himself in the forehead. Levi and Paragon brought the action away from the ring and back to the outside perimeter of the venue. Kind of getting dangerously close to the whole WVLP setup right here, but fortunately they brought the action back to the ring. Paragon brought a steel chair to the ring. Jason Levi's now hauling a table to the ring. Paragon just drop kicked the table right into Jason Levi. After a few whacks with a kendo stick and a DDT on the floor, Jason Levi barely answered the 10 count at a count of 9. Paragon is back to work on him. They're outside the ring. Now Paragon has rolled Levi back into the ring, where there still awaits a steel chair and a table. And now Jason Levi has the kendo stick. And now he's using the kendo stick. Levi has Paragon up in a fireman's carry, and he's hoisted him up to the second rope. Little wobbly, and backdrop into the ring. Paragon just slammed Jason Levi into the chair that's on the mat. It looked like he was getting the table set up for something next. Levi gets a 6 count before he's to his feet. Paragon hit him with his wooden stick. He brings in with his entrance, and now he's draping Levi across the table. And the table breaks under his weight before Paragon gets to do anything with it. So rather than coming off the top rope onto Levi through the table, it's just onto the table, or at least the pieces of the table. The ref gets to a 6 count before both men get up to their feet, and they're back at it. Paragon is kicking Levi in the side of the head, and Levi is just sitting right back up, giving him the bring it hand motion. This time Paragon is laying on a table. It's sagging under his weight. Levi's climbing to the rope. Oh, but Paragon recovers. Scoots the table out of the way. Now he's up onto the ropes after Levi. Oh, big suplex off the top. It's cold in here. The crowd's kind of quiet, so you can hear Ref Zoran counting. Here comes Buck Sexton up to the ring. And he's attacking Paragon. Why are Buck Sexton and his henchmen interfering in this match? And if they were going to interfere, you think they would interfere on behalf of Paragon. And they've just put Paragon through the table. Ref's up to 5. While the ref was counting, Jason Levi was helped to his feet by Buck Sexton, and Buck Sexton's henchman, whose name I don't remember. Jason Levi wins the match with the help of Buck Sexton.
That means Paragon must leave NGW.
Buck Sexton and his henchmen were trying to make nice with Levi, but Levi wasn't having any of it. And now they've put down Jason Levi, and they're fake counting another 10 count on him. The crowd was chanting Baldy at Sexton, who lost his hair in the previous match. And Paragon came back in to check on Jason Levi after that display of bad sportsmanship on the part of Sexton and his stooge. So, Paragon's out of here. Here's what he has to say.
Come on, say it. Give a round of applause for this local right here. You and I have been at war since June. Yeah, too damn long. You pushed me to limits, and as much as I hate your guts, I respect the hell out of you. One year ago, to this day, Paragon debuted in NGW. There were some good times, there were some bad times, there were some names like people not having teeth, there were some names, I got called Barney a couple times. But you know what? Every single night I was out here for all of you, whether it was a black singlet, whether it was looking like the purple people here, or whether it was wearing this purple rain shirt, you reacted, you cheered, you were involved, and you know what? Even when you were trashing my name, you made me feel at home. So no matter where Paragon goes in life, NGW will always be home. But before I say anything, let's Buck Sexton. This may be the end of Paragon and NGW, but between you and I, sorry, Mr. Sexton, ooh, buck yourself, because when I catch you outside, on the street, in your house, in your home, doing whatever you do with the high society that we don't talk about here at NGW, because we have kids, I will find you, and you will be the first victim. Welcome to the new Walking Apocalypse.
Give me that mic!
Well, Justin Myers has introduced himself into the ring from the wrong direction.
Last month, not to pressure me, that there would be consequences. Once I'm done with this big bloke, your head's going on my wall. Ring the bell.
We were waiting for Justin Myers' entrance music for him to come out the entryway, and he jumped Gideon from the opposite side of the ring. Myers hits Gideon with a DDT right away, but he didn't get a 3 count out of it. Oh, Gideon was coming into Myers, and he clobbered Ref Zoran instead. Ref Zoran's all right. He's slowly getting to his feet. He's very resilient.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest.
Well, that was fast.
And new NGW champion, Gideon.
Gideon speared Myers, and he's already won the match. That was quicker than expected. Nina Valentine is the commissioner of NGW, who's had enough of Justin Myers' nonsense. She just rolled him out of the ring with her foot. And here come people from the back to congratulate Gideon. And that's a wrap from Crawfordsville, Indiana, the Montgomery County Fairgrounds. NGW runs every month. Next month in Danville, the month after that, they'll be back at this location. All their shows so far I've seen at the Crawfordsville National Guard Armory, so this is a little bit different. Hopefully next time it will be warmer. Anyway, Ken the Metal Professor signing off for the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. You've been listening to Mostly Metal and the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program here on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. I'm Ken the Metal Professor. I'm pretty much out of time for my 2-hour block on this evening, this cold, cold evening. And there's about 5 or 6 minutes left to go. And so just to, use up some time between now and the top of the hour, when on Sunday night you'll be hearing a replay of Punk Rock Radio, and on Wednesday night after my replay, it'll just turn over into the automated programming for the overnight hours. Enjoy this little ditty that some of you old people might recognize.